Hey y'all. Okay, we are so excited to be together today. Yes. Well, we like to be together anyway.
Yes, we are.
And Dr. Jamie is one of those people that I honestly can never have enough time with. So sometimes when God calls us to something big, like there are some automatic things you have to lay down because like I would take her to coffee once a week if she could fit me in. But because her calling is so big and serving so many, that's just not available. So I treasure the times. This is the kind of person you want in your life that I need to get an adjustment. So it's easy for me to be consistent because I also get the benefit of her and her friendship.
Yes, we have a nice little visit.
It's such a good visit. So today, what we're going to talk about actually is chiropractic care. And Dr. Jamie is a chiropractor. And so when I moved from Texas to Louisiana, I knew I needed two things really before I moved. I needed a trainer that was a girl, and I needed a chiropractor that was a girl. So I found the trainer first. But funny enough, my trainer also has come to Dr. Jamie. So yes. You know how the Lord just weaves all that together.
Yes.
So kind of the backstory of why I thought this would be a really good video for the world at large, whenever you may see this, is I didn't know anything about chiropractic.
Yeah.
So I didn't know, except people get cracked. That was my impression.
Right.
It might be your impression. And I was like, no, thank you. Not interested. I already had enough stuff going on that I was like, I don't need somebody else adding to the mix. And actually, I started having migraines. And when they got to the point that they were every single day, I was like, something has got to give. And a gentleman came to my networking group in Texas, and he was a chiropractic doctor, he and his wife. And so this is me. He was giving a free talk that afternoon at a health food store. And if you came, then you could have like $15 off your visit, which I did not need to go spend extra time to get the $15 off. But I was I wouldn't say opposed. I was skeptical.
Right, yes.
I feel like there's a lot of skeptics out there about what chiropractic actually does for us as humans. So I went and heard Dr. David, and I was like, oh, okay, well, all this does kind of make sense. And when he spoke to me afterwards, he said, I guarantee we can get rid of your migraines. Okay, so if you have struggled with something and somebody says they can guarantee, I was like, okay, I'm in.
Sign me up.
Sign me up.
Please.
And so he was like, I would want you to work with my wife, which since I'm a girl person, I was like, perfect.
Yes.
And he even said she's actually the smarter one of the two of us. So I'm giving you the best of the best. And so I began working with them. So y'all, so much. This is one of the reasons you want to have a relationship with your chiropractic doctor also. Absolutely. It's not just the getting in alignment. It is what the getting in alignment does for you. And when you combine that with whole foods and a balance of stress, work, rest, play, when you are self-aware of what's happening instead of blowing right past all the signs like I used to do.
I did too. Years ago, I definitely would blow past the signs too until I learned, what chiropractic really can do for you.
And y'all, I think, we talk about the Lord a lot on this channel. The world tells us to blow past the God-given signs. Like when God put that verse in scripture that we are fearfully and wonderfully made, that was not an exaggeration. When you begin, should you dive into chiropractic, you will begin to understand so much more about how fearfully and wonderfully made we are.
Yes.
So some of the side benefits for me that have come out of, besides healthy eating, weight loss, off of all my medications, y'all, I used to take 3 different allergy medicines and an asthma medicine per day when I started this 5 years ago. So that's just too much for your little body anyway. So to be off all of that and then to just feel so good is a completely new experience. Like I was like, why do we not learn this in school? Like who cares about the little 5 food groups or whatever that don't even listen to that anymore either.
They're rearranging those now.
Okay, good. As we speak. But I wish everyone knew what it does to your body when it's all in alignment. And the way that Dr. Jamie and others have explained it to me is it's like everything can talk to each other.
Yes.
So like if you're having a headache, the other parts of you, when aligned, can draw strength from and help correct instead of medicine. Because again, in my humble opinion, the world is who tells us, just get a prescription. You need a prescription.
Just a quick fix, a Band-Aid, magic bullet. And I mean, in reality, there is no magic bullet, especially for chronic things. And so that just doesn't really exist.
And I think that's the thing that makes some people resistant to chiropractic, because y'all, it is maintenance.
It's a process.
So it is.
If you come with active symptoms already, even if you were to come to me, which, some people come for just wellness, that it is a process to get you to that point where you start noticing, oh, I'm not having as much of this symptom. It's not lasting as long when I have it, or it's not as severe when I have it, or it's not happening as frequently. And then we slowly but surely are able to really unlock that full potential of regulating your nervous system, having your body in alignment, and then your body is able to function better because of that, because it's regulating better. You're able to function better and adapt better to all of the things that are getting thrown at you through your environment, physical, chemical, also emotional too.
Sure.
It's a huge emotional component, but when those things are in alignment, your body's regulating better, your body's functioning better. That feel better part, migraines, back pain, plantar fasciitis, whatever it is, those things start to get better too.
It's so true. So when I think of it, chiropractic, like this, when I started my yoga practice, I sucked at it so bad. I have barely progressed from that, in full disclosure. But every time I do yoga, what I think to myself is, this is why they call it a practice, Julia, because it's going to take practice. And my body always feels so much better every time I do it, right? Well, in some ways, that's the way I think of chiropractic. It is the practice of learning, or maybe unlearning, what the world has taught us.
Right.
So that we can relearn the way God has designed us and what being in alignment actually means to each of our individual bodies. The more you do it, the better it works for you.
Yes, over time, the adjustments, whether it's somebody that has just flaming, like low back pain or something just really standing out as far as a lot of pain, or if it's for maintenance, either way, those adjustments over time are building on each other. Each one builds off of the last to help you get closer towards optimal functioning. So
I chose Dr. Jamie here in Louisiana because she mirrored what I had been taught in Texas, all the holistic approach. And y'all, she's forever working with me about my candles, the oils, I am on aluminum-free deodorant, all that. Yeah, I know. Progress. We celebrate everything around here.
Yes, we do.
So tell them, though, what originally, Dr. Jamie's married, has three babies.
Yep.
And just had a baby girl, so that was another win.
Yes.
What drew you to this? Was it a calling? Was it a curiosity?
Yeah, well, so I grew up, so my uncle was a chiropractor. And so I grew up, I think I was one of the first pediatric adjustments that my uncle ever did.
Oh.
So I was about 2 when he graduated chiropractic school.
Okay.
And so I did get adjusted as a kid. And that was just part of my life, growing up, that my mom would always take me to my Uncle Mike and we would get adjusted as a family. And then as I got older, I can remember I wrote this on one of my best friend's birthday cards, that she gave me, and it said she wanted to be a vet and I wanted to be I would always say I wanted to be a chiropractor like my Uncle Mike. And so she even wrote at my 16th birthday on the card that, one of these days you're going to be cracking bones and then I'm going to be, taking care of pets and stuff. So, but I do think back to that because I did end up being a chiropractor.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went through a phase where when I was in college, I thought, well, maybe I want to be an obstetrician and help deliver babies, or then maybe I want to be a midwife. So I kind of went back and forth between that. So I did start getting just more of a passion. My uncle saw just kind of all demographics, men, women, kids, not a whole lot of kids, but kids that were very close to him. I was his niece. So, and so that's when I started exploring women's health and children's health. And then I went to chiropractic school. I had my first baby while I was in chiropractic school. And so we did do a home birth, and the baby got stuck in the birth canal during delivery. And I happened to have a chiropractor there who was one of my closest friends.
Wow.
And they adjusted me while I was laboring the baby out. And it was just so wonderful that, as soon as they got my pelvis in alignment, that baby just turned. He was in the wrong position. He turned and he literally came out, and everybody was like, why didn't we do this 2 hours ago? And so because of that, that really fueled my, my passion for women and children, and especially pregnancy and things like that for chiropractic. Because a lot of people up to that point, they didn't know babies could get adjusted. They didn't know you can get adjusted when you're pregnant. And in fact, when I first became a chiropractor, I was so fired up about pregnancy and babies. And I worked for another chiropractic company, a franchise, and I would have women who were in there getting adjusted by me on the monthly membership. And they would say, Dr. Jamie, I'm pregnant, so I'm going to have to cancel my membership. And that was a really good educational, time for me with those women, and where I said, actually, that's one of the times in your life that you really want to be getting adjusted, but you need to be getting adjusted the right way. Because obviously there's a different way that you're going to adjust pregnant women and children and babies versus, somebody just like you or me, where we don't have the extra stuff going on.
Right.
So
that is
but
fascinating.
it's important for all of us. I mean,
it's so important at any age.
Yes. Babies, the youngest baby I've ever adjusted was about 15 minutes old at the hospital. Yeah. And then my first baby got adjusted when he was about 30 minutes old. So you're not too young to get adjusted, and you're not too old to get adjusted.
Right.
I have one of our favorite members. She just celebrated her 90th birthday with us, and she doesn't come for pain. She comes because she just told me the other day, if I hadn't been coming to you every other week for all these years, I'd be as crooked as I was before I started coming to you. So it really makes a difference in quality of life. And this lady who is 90, she blows some 70-year-olds out of the water with how much she's able to move. So it's very, very important.
That brings up a great point. So I was sharing with my dad, who he turns 85 this year, and has probably never seen a chiropractor. He's a little slower to the party. But I was sharing with him that I'd always had me, I'm the goal setter. So I want to live to be 100. I want to live to be, until I heard a podcast about the difference between lifespan and health span.
Yeah.
So that changed my perspective on, I don't want to be here if I can't do anything.
Right. Exactly.
I want to be able to be fully engaged in my life. And so this to me is not just preventative. It's also not just a quick fix because you're hurting at the moment with whatever. It is like a lifestyle choice of self-care and physical care for your body.
And it really and truly can help your quality of life to extend your life and to extend the quality while you are here as an older person, as we are, getting into that phase of life. Because I'm like you, I want to go to heaven if I'm going to just be miserable and suffering. And, technology nowadays, we have so many ways to keep people alive, but are they just alive or are they thriving?
That's it.
And chiropractic helps you to thrive no matter what age or what your walk of life looks like.
It's true. So I, Dr. Jamie got me after I had already begun to, if I may say, drink the Kool-Aid. But I will tell y'all, when I started, my neck was so out of alignment, they couldn't even believe. No wonder I was having migraines every day.
Oh, yeah.
And so in the beginning, I went 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And after 3 months, I was like, okay, I'm is this going to ease up? Because my life isn't scheduled to put this much time into my health care. And they were like, yes, absolutely. So I'm thinking, okay, great. 2 times a month, like our 90-year-old friend. They're like, you're about to get to go down to 2 times a week.
Yes.
I was like, so I was in such disarray, y'all. And it was my own responsibility. I had allowed other life goals, my business, different stresses. I prioritized those over my own
body.
health.
Yep.
Yes. And so I, quote, paid the price in time, in the time to go and get the adjustments until finally I did get to go to once every other week.
Right.
But even Dr. Jamie and I were just talking, I'd had an asthma flare up, and she said, you may need to come once a week for a while. So I want you guys to know that up front. It's kind of like when you start working out. You don't go and do your first workout and look like you've got a six pack and, can run a marathon.
Right.
It's
absolutely.
a building process. And, the thing that I think you'll receive from it, though, is number one, your body's going to start working better. But also, if you get a great chiropractor who does discuss everything, the food, the toxins, the medications. I know I'm even off my ADHD medicine, and they helped me find some different things that could supplement to help me, with focus and clarity. So it can really be more of a one-stop shopping, whereas used to, I would say, gosh, maybe we need to take you to the doctor. My first statement now is we got to get you to the chiropractor.
Yeah.
And that is huge. And I wish more Americans knew that.
Yeah, absolutely. This stat is probably a little outdated, but it's probably still close. Unfortunately, I did some research years back, it's probably at least 5 years ago, that 8% of the population sees a chiropractor.
Oh my God.
And that is such a small, there's 92% of people out there
struggling
in America who, maybe haven't had the right information given to them, provided to them, that would even make them think, oh, I should go to this chiropractor and see if this can help in getting my nervous system regulated.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very sad statistic, and that's one of my goals in life, is to kind of help spread that awareness too. Mm-hmm. That it is just mind blowing how much it helps.
It is.
All kinds of things. I'll have people that come in with back pain, and then it's kind of a taboo thing. We don't like to talk about constipation, for example, but it's a thing so many people struggle with, especially nowadays. Just stress levels are up. The diet we eat is yucky. And so they'll tell me 4 or 5 visits in, hey, did you know that you actually helped with that problem too? And I'm like, I knew that because I was adjusting your L2, whatever it was.
Right.
And that's just one example, so it's really amazing how a lot of the autonomic, psychosomatic type processes of our body, how chiropractic can help that. And what got the person in may not have been that, because they didn't know that it could help with that.
Right.
They just thought, I'm having all this low back pain and I need some relief. So, and they think, oh, well, I guess I'll try a chiropractor. And then it ends up benefiting them in so many more ways than just the one reason that they came in.
Right. And this is one of my favorite things about Dr. Jamie. So I don't like to go to doctors, the other kind of doctors, because my thought is they're going to always find something extra that they're going to think I need some medicine for or something. And I'm like, no. Yeah. With Dr. Jamie, I can tell her how I'm feeling. And so, like, this was several visits ago. I was like, I'm so nauseous. Like, I'm not even sure why. And of course, she asked all the right questions. What's on your mind? What else going on? That just like counseling for free. And then she did the adjustment, and then she did some extra stuff, like on my tummy. And when she sat me back up on the table, I could tell immediately that I was not feeling nauseous anymore. So instead of, think of all the over-the-counter stuff we take, or, you can only eat saltines so long before your carb count is way up, sister. So let us be aware also.
Yes.
This is a calorie-free situation right here. And so what would you say? Like, I do feel like this video is kind of like a public service announcement.
Yeah,
definitely. That regular people, I feel like all people, and this is, I try to live with as few regrets as I can in my life. Had I understood the value of chiropractic when I was having my babies and when they were growing up, it would have been a non-negotiable. Honestly, I would just held an extra Mary Kay party a month to cover it, because that is how much I believe in it. And I didn't know. I had no idea. So what would you say as a tip or a takeaway or just consider it from your professional point of view?
Yeah, the biggest thing is to just start doing research. And, nowadays people, they go online or through social media.
True.
So just start looking on social media, or Google chiropractors near me. Some of the buzzwords as far as holistic chiropractors go would be like nervous system based chiropractor. That's how a lot of people find me in this area, is they'll type that in, or they'll just type holistic chiropractor. And all chiropractors are great, so I don't want you to think that it has to be that. But that is definitely a good way to find somebody who's really going to be focused in their chiropractic practice on wellness care, like what we do here. And that doesn't mean that someone with low back pain can't come here. They come here every single day.
Right.
And then my goal is to get them to that point of that optimum healing and wellness, where they are coming in not because they have to, but because they see the benefits that are so powerful. So they do come in. They don't come in as often, like the 3 times a week, like you were talking about.
Right.
I do have people that in the beginning, I feel like they need to support their body because their body has so much going on that they do need to come pretty frequently. But I do tell them this is not forever. If you can commit to it for this period of time, your body will thank you. And so the biggest thing is locating a good chiropractor. And it's okay if you try out a few chiropractors in your area. If you have that relationship and build that rapport with this chiropractor, because like with you, my hands have been on your body for years. And so I know what's normal for you and what's very abnormal. And, that really kind of helps me to tune into some areas whenever I feel those on your body that, some funky stuff is going on with you, Julia. What's going on? What kind of stress do you have? So for your chiropractor to really learn your body and you develop that relationship with them, that's what so many people are looking for in a physician anyway.
So true.
To not be just treated like a number, to not just go in and be prescribed some medication, or even at a chiropractor's office, to not just go in and just get the same, 7 spots pop that they pop on every other single patient that they see. It's not like that. Definitely finding a good fit for you. What works for you is, your chiropractor is the best advice I could give somebody.
I love that. I'm going to be bold and say I would urge you not to go to some of the franchises that are out there where you're going to have a different person at every time. Part of the secret is the person learning you and what is your highest and best normal.
Right.
So like she said, do your research. And for me, even though I put in holistic, of course, for me, I wanted a female chiropractor. Well, there aren't a lot in this area.
Yeah.
And everybody that I asked about her, once I had that Google come up, that rave reviews, so definitely do your research and put in the search what's important to you.
Yes.
I know my husband Danny, he was not really a big fan until he started hurting more. And she adjusts him every other week as well, too. So it can be from the very smallest person to the biggest, hugest football player type anatomy. But it's so worth it. And I think you will be able to see and enjoy your life and enjoy, the way God made us to operate.
Yes.
And I think lowering of stress is an automatic byproduct.
Oh,
also.
yes. Better sleep, reduce stress. Those are 2 things that just come for free with everybody's adjustment. And, in chiropractic school, we learned, we took some chiropractic philosophy classes that basically teach you what's called above, down, inside out.
Okay.
And the way that I took that and the way that I view that is, like we are fearfully and wonderfully made and by God up from above down to our bodies. And then what's inside then works itself out as far as working on the nervous system and the brain and everything. So when a chiropractor is adjusting you, they're not just cracking a bone, they're working with your nervous system and giving that what's called afferent input into your brain. So, and
that's such a critical part because if you think about it, like when I would hurt, it would be because I pulled a muscle or I worked out too hard or I had a headache. But y'all, all of those things are attached to the skeleton.
Yes.
So by me trying to just fix the outer part, That's why it was never long lasting, because if we don't start at the root, right? Remember, we've talked about that book, The Body Keeps the Score. And to me, this is the ultimate healing from the inside out. Just like in counseling, you might do, talk therapy or group therapy. It's from the inside out.
Yes.
And this is that for your body.
Yes, absolutely.
I know y'all have gotten so much from this. Isn't she amazing? So totally put our questions, comments, whatever I don't know how to answer, I'll refer to Dr.
come to
Jamie
me for it,
for sure. And if you're in or surrounding West Monroe, Louisiana, she's your girl for sure. And thank you so much for taking the time. It's been so fun.
Thank you.
So fun. See y'all soon. And remember, like, share, subscribe, do the things.